If you are planning to do an MBA soon, there's a very good chance that you would have heard of this thing called Masters Union. It's the new cool kid in town who is competing very closely with the top business schools, and their latest placement stats of first cohort has shaken everyone, right? They've managed to get an average package of 59 lakhs per annum. So what does this mean for you? Should you go ahead and apply to it right away? In this video, I'm going to share with you some pros and cons after I have done some research on it. Hi everyone, welcome to Insider Gyaan. My name is Somi. I'm an IIT Delhi and ISB Hyderabad grad, and I've been working in banking and management consulting industries for 9+ years now. On this channel, I share a lot about my journey, learnings, mistakes, and I get some of my friends to share their experiences as well, so that it can help you in your career decisions. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. बहुत सारे लोग मुझसे पूछ रहे थे कि मास्टर्स यूनियन में अप्लाई करे कि ना करे, मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है. एंड टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, बिफोर आई वाज गेटिंग दीज क्वेश्चंस, आई डिड नॉट नो अबाउट इट. आई स्पेंट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम द पास्ट few weeks going and finding more about it, and today I'm going to share with you my point of view. What are the good things about this place? What are the bad things? And if it matches up to the top business schools, is it going to be tomorrow's ISB or IIM? Let's get started. Before I start with the pros and cons, सबसे पहले मैं मास्टर्स यूनियन प्रोग्राम के बारे में थोड़ा सा बता देती हूँ. It's sort of MBA equivalent in India. It is a practitioner-led hands-on PGP program. What that means is real people from the industry come and teach you things. By the way, I have all my notes in the iPad, so don't mind me looking at my iPad and reading out stuff. But essentially, it's a practitioner-led, hands-on PGP program. They focus a lot more on technology and business management. And that's great because technology is becoming an integral part, and there needs to be more MBA that focuses on tech. It is a 16 months program and has a 3 to 4 months internship included. So practically it's like a 1-year program, very similar to ISB. ISB में internship नहीं होता, it's just 12 months. It is also a cohort based program, which means it's not an online MBA. You are literally sitting in classrooms with your cohort, with people, and taking the courses together, learning from each other, etc. And that's great, right? It means that you have good benefits of MBA, creating a network, etc. And also the campus is based in Gurgaon as of now. Okay, so now coming to some of the things that I wanted to, the real life things which you should think about. I have categorized this part, the pros part, into 4 sections. First, I'm going to talk about the cohort, right? Who are the people Masters Union is getting into their batch as a cohort member, as their students? Who are these people? Secondly, we'll talk about learning, both classroom learning as well as practical learning aspects. Thirdly, we are going to learn about student life. How does a student life look like? And fourth, we are going to talk about placements. I think that's probably what most of you are watching this video for. Okay, let's get started with cohort. Now, understanding MBA cohort is very, very important because, one of the key aspects of an MBA program or being a part of any good institute is the kind of people you study with, the kind of people you interact with on a daily basis, the kind of network that you accordingly build. Peer learning is big. Daily interactions make you learn a lot of things, make you know, like it widens your horizon quite a bit, right? So that's very important. Now, let's see who is the cohort of Masters Union. I don't have a lot of data, so it's just based on batch 1. Their first batch had an average work experience of 4 years, 3.7 years. The average age is 25 years, and yes, these guys also take in freshers. Unlike an ISB where you need 2 years of minimum work ex, over here you can also apply as freshers. About 16% of the first cohort was freshers. So very ISB-like stats. Yeah. Now let's see who are these people, right? उन्होंने कौन से colleges से अपने degrees हासिल किए हैं? What are the companies that these guys were working in? Because their profiles matter a lot in terms of what you can learn from these people, right? Overall, when I did some browsing and deep research, I found that these are really good profiles. So talking about some of the colleges that these guys have been to, there are students from BITS Pilani, from Young India Fellowship, Ashoka University, from quite a few good NITs as well, few of the newer IITs as well. And I also saw some people from IIT Kharagpur, which was great. Other good colleges like NIFT, also a lot of people from Delhi University, like the really good ones, SRCC, LSR, St. Xavier's, Mumbai, Calcutta, etc. And these people have also worked in some really cool places before joining Masters Union. There were people working in Your Story, in all these tech giants like Amazon, Oracle, Microsoft, Zomato, Byju's, Unacademy, some consulting companies as well like ZS Associates, KPMG, EY, वगैरह. A few of them were also startup founders. So overall, you can see that really good profile of the people who are joining in. I mean, the name of colleges or the kind of companies they have worked in probably doesn't say a lot to you about what kind of people they are, but it is a strong signal, right? Like these are serious people who have done something in their life and have something to offer to the current cohort as well. Okay, with that, moving to section 2, which is about learning, right? Let's talk about classroom learning first. What I got to know is that there are some of these theoretical courses, right? Like economics or statistics. These courses are taught to you by real professors, by real teachers who have taught in other bigger colleges like even Harvard, etc. But at the same time, they also get some real industry professionals to teach you a lot of these real life skills as well. People who don't just have the theoretical knowledge, but they have applied those theories into their real life, and they have some like practical lessons to share as well. So it's just one step ahead of a case study kind of a teaching, I would say. And I did some research just to give you a few examples. There was someone from Reliance Industries who came in to teach the students about executive leadership. There was someone from Ola Electric who came to give a lecture on future of energy sector. So basically, you are getting all these lessons directly from the horse's mouth. There was someone from J&J, Johnson & Johnson, teaching about pricing strategies. Some MD from Morgan Stanley teaching about people management and decisions. Chief economist of RBI teaching you macroeconomics. How cool is that? I would love to learn from someone who has worked at RBI. Amazon India country manager on how to set up an e-commerce business. I don't know what to say about it because it's literally coming from people who have done it, you know, so that's quite cool. Also, what I saw when I was browsing through the courses that these guys focus on there's a focus on a lot of next gen kind of stuff. So just to give you an example, digital transformation, product management, of course. Product management has become quite mainstream anyway now. Focus on fintechs, focus on data science, digital marketing, design thinking, the things where the world is taking a turn towards, basically. And one thing which I really found very cool was your grades are defined not just by your classroom courses, how many marks you get in some of those exams, but it's a combination of your exam scores and some of the things that you have done on the practical front of things, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. And more importantly, the grades are not shown to your future recruiters, which means that you are not in a constant pressure to get good marks, but your focus is more on learning and absorbing the things that are taught to you, which I think was a very cool concept. जो competition का angle होता है ना, वो उन्होंने काफी हटा दिया है ये करके. Anyway, now moving to practical learning. Now, practical learning is something no. I feel like this is their real differentiator. This is the real differentiator for Masters Union. They have taken it to a next level altogether. Just to give you a few examples, they have something called an influencer challenge, which they run throughout the year. Throughout the year, there are some students who are asked to start a new page, maybe on Instagram or maybe a YouTube channel, find out different strategies, what kind of content is going to work, and marketing some of those content pieces to the world and scaling up that page basically over the period of 1 year, and then seeing who did it better. Basically, you are not just developing the strategies, but also executing themselves, seeing the results from your actions and sort of iteratively working on it, creating new income streams as well from those pages. Secondly, they have something called a local consulting challenge, where students are encouraged to take a few days and solve some very real life kind of problems. And when I was doing some research, I was trying to find what does this really mean? Like, is it like a case study or what are they trying to solve? And I came across a few examples. One example which I found extra cool was there was this student who helped an Uber driver optimize the route throughout the day so that it can maximize that person's revenues. What I mean by that is Uber ड्राइवर्स को इतनी मतलब समझ तो नहीं है कि उनको एक ट्रिप के बाद कहाँ का ट्रिप ले etc. And they may end up taking a few trips in one location, few trips in another location. There's no coherence between the route they follow, and generally they might be wasting a lot of fuel and not earning as much money. So this guy came in and had a chat with this Uber driver and figured out a proper route chart that this guy could follow. So cool, right? Okay, then a few other examples was a fully student-run investment fund, where the students themselves get the investment fund from other students or industry professionals or even professors. They manage that fund of money. They decide how to invest that money, be it a specific allocation in crypto or specific allocation in equities versus other assets, and help that fund grow over a period of time. So real life returns they are generating and providing back to the investors. That was third example. Fourth is they have something called a startup weekend as well, where students need to come together with an idea. They need to build a prototype of it, get real-time feedback, and present it to a panel. So it's very similar to hackathon kind of competitions that usually take place, and all of this is done in 2 days. So very fast, you are thinking about an idea, you are building the prototype, you're presenting, doing everything within a span of 48 hours, and that's very cool. They also have something called a shadow a CEO or a CXO. And that's great because what you're literally doing is you are spending some time with the CEO and seeing what that person does throughout the day, what his job responsibilities include. And in the process, you are not just learning from that person, you are also getting some one-on-one mentorship from like really good high-level senior people, and you're also developing a good strong network. So it's a lot of things you are achieving within that one program. Then of course they also have an internship opportunity. Okay, so with that I think I complete the practical learning aspect, but they have quite a few practical learning things which students can participate and get some real life skills, like execute things themselves. Moving on to student life part, section number 3. So student life I would say is similar to some of the other top business schools in India, like an IIM or an ISP. Some of the student clubs, the learning student clubs that they have are consulting, they have fintech, they have entrepreneurship cell, product management, marketing, etc. They also have some extracurriculars related clubs like sports, wellness, social work, music, etc. In terms of the learning, when does everything happen? Again, Monday to Thursday, they have a few classes, students have a few classes, and Friday to Sunday is when people are doing all these real life skills, like real life competitions, assignments, etc. This model is exactly similar to what I have seen in ISB as well. Okay, now coming to section number 4, which is probably what you might have been waiting for, and this is the placement section. One of the biggest reasons why most of us go to college, go to an MBA school, especially in India, right? It's because of placements, and it's important before you choose a school to know what the students of that specific school are doing, where do they get hired, what kind of opportunities they have, etc. And this is where I feel like Masters Union did such a great job that the placement numbers actually brought them to people's attention. Just to give you some stats, some of their domestic average CTC, cost to company, has been 29 lakhs per annum, which is an average. And of course it includes its cost to company, so it might include variable component like bonuses, one-time bonuses, etc. So the actual in hand that you get in your account could be much lesser, but still it's quite high. It's very, very comparable to some of the IIMs and the ISPs. The top 50% had 36 lakhs per average ka CTC. And if we talk about some of the recruiters who came in, they were quite big as well. There were obviously a lot of tech companies given the tech focus nature of this MBA program. So there were companies like Razorpay, Better, Neo, Unacademy, bigger companies like Microsoft as well. Some consulting companies as well like BCG came to hire there. And something that I found really, really interesting was during the placement time, right, there's a lot of focus that Masters Union has on some of the practical courses which can help you in placements. So things like profile building, how do you build your LinkedIn presence, case interviews, how do you handle them, negotiation skills, business etiquettes, etc. And that's something which I feel like not a lot of other business schools teach you. So that's very cool. So overall, as you can see, the fundamentals are very, very, very strong. Now, a lot of these things like shadow a CEO program or, negotiation skills and managing a student fund, some of these things are also existing in some of the top business schools like IIMs and ISB. However, I think there are three key differentiators for Masters Union, which is number one is a high focus on some of the contemporary courses like digital transformation, etc. Secondly, bringing in industry practitioners. I mean, a lot of top business schools, IIMs, ISBs do bring in industry practitioners, but I felt Masters Union is doing, it's a industry practitioners led program, right? Versus some of the top IIMs where occasionally the industry practitioners would come in and give you some Gyaan. So that's a good differentiator. And thirdly, very high focus on practical learning, which is where I feel Masters Union has nailed it. Okay, so overall seems very good, right? Now let's talk about some of the cons. Number one, firstly, I think you should not believe the placement numbers too much. You shouldn't read into it too much because these numbers can very easily be inflated, not by Masters Union but by the companies themselves. There are bonus components which are included, there are variable like one-time bonuses included, so don't read too much into that. But at the same time, I think that the numbers are comparable to the other IIMs, ISBs. The other big con that I see is there's not much data about Masters Union yet, right? They don't have a strong alum base yet. We don't know what kind of things these alums will go ahead and do. Secondly, they have just graduated one cohort so far. So we don't know these students who are going ahead and joining some of these companies would be eager to come back again or not. Like, we don't have enough data to tell us whether Masters Union is going to be India's next ISB or IIM. Only time will tell us this. As more and more cohorts graduate, as we get more data on what kind of things they do, what kind of companies come back to hire, etc. So definitely it has started with a bang, but whether it will be able to sustain itself for the longer run, only time will tell. Now, my job here, I feel like, is to show you both the sides of this college. I guess I can call it a college, so that you can make the decision yourself, right? I'm not going to make the decision for you, but I'll definitely say that I do think it's a good option. I also know the person who has started this is quite good. He has an MBA himself. He belongs to a family of educators, so definitely has a lot of knowledge in that aspect. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to share in this video. Hope आप लोगों को कुछ information मिली हो इस video से, and if you're still confused, if you still have any more questions, do let me know in the comments. Would love to answer them. That's about it. Hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel for more such content, and I'm going to see you soon. Till then, bye.